This video tutorial will show you how to access and use your clone sites. The first thing you're going to need with your clone sites is to set up your domain name. So go to Clone Sites, go to Domains Setup, and there's going to be a series of videos that'll show you how to buy and pick the domain names that you're going to need for these. You can either get brand new domain names, which is what most of you will do. You can transfer existing domains that you already have, or you can use our subdomains, which I don't recommend simply because it'll look so much like our domain name. And you want to have your own unique domain name that is easy to read to them over the phone. So once you've gone through that process and your domains are set up, you'll want to actually go look at your domains. So go to Clone Sites, and this will be the list of domains that are set up for you. And I'm going to go through each one of these and show you what they are and how they work. The first one is the listing site. This is the site where you can put up all your properties that you have for sale. And you can use the data feed system to put properties on here. When you open yours up for the first time, no properties will be on your list, and it'll make it look like you're not in business. So if you would like to, you can actually use our data feed system to do that. The way you use the data feed system is to go into your inventory, and there's a tutorial section in there that'll show you how to pick properties in the state that you want or in the city that you want. There's 600 or 700 properties in there that you can choose from that are being used or that are from our other users that have allowed us to use these properties so that you can put them on your site. Now they will show sold on your site, but at least they'll show that you're active and that you're in the process, which is the main goal of this process. The other thing is putting your own properties on here, and you'll be able to do that as well. That's set up in Lead Management. If I go to Lead Management and I pick any property and I go to the Lead Properties button and I select that property, it'll open up the lead questionnaire form. This is the information that you'll need to fill out in order to have your property show up on the listing site. If you fill out this information and then details about the house for sale, you can put in HTML, you can embed video here, and then you can put the information that you have about the property, and that will show up on the listing site. You can save this progress, and once you're done that, you can go to your inventory and you can activate the property so it shows up on your site. If it has this little toggle data feed button is green, that means it's going to show up on the listing site. So if I go over here and I can see that Meadowgrass Way is on that. If I click this again, it'll take it off, and when I come back to the listing site and refresh it, you'll see that it has disappeared. I'm going to go back here and put it back on because I want to have it on that site. If you want more information about the data feed, just watch this tutorial on the inventory section, and it'll show you how to use the data feed and how to find your own properties and modify them as well. The listing site is sort of your generic catch-all for your business. It's the thing that shows that you're in business. It's your storefront, and it has a couple of places where people can opt into your list. If they are if they're investors looking for properties, they can opt into your list. If they're looking to buy, rent, to own, they can opt into your list by clicking on these buttons. And if you'll click on these buttons, you'll see where they take you, and you'll see that there's an opt-in page on those. Same with this one, a different type of investor. And each one of these, when people fill out these forms, they will be put on a mailing list. If I go back to the auto marketer and I go to follow-up campaigns, I can actually read the mailing lists. So if I go to this auto marketer, and again, this tutorial will show you how to find these things, but I'm just going to do it real quickly here. If I go here to look for the auto marketer campaigns, I'm sorry, it should be the clone site campaigns. Then I can see the campaigns. Here's one that's the rent-to-own buyer campaign. And if I want to look at that campaign, I can click on View Detail, and it'll open up that campaign. And as I scroll down the page here, each one of these is a different email that's going out to people. And if I want to read those emails, I can take a look here. I can edit them, and I can modify them. Or if I just click on Test Campaign, a little thingy will show up here, and I can put my email address in here or my text number, and I can hit Send, and it will send me all of the emails in that particular campaign, so I can review what those are and what's going out with them. You can also get more information about how the follow-up campaign works by watching this tutorial, so I won't get into it too much. But as you can see here, it's going out over a series of days that's being sent out to people, and it continues to follow up with them even after it's completed. Let's go back to the clone sites again. And let's look at the next one, which is the rent-to-own buyer site. And this is where you can send your rent-to-own houses or your rent-to-own buyers. They can listen to an audio. They can fill out a form and tell you what they're looking for, how much they have for a down payment, their monthly payment. And this is what's on the audio, so you can read through this or just listen to the audio. And this essentially is what just me reading that audio. So that's the rent-to-own buyers site. There's also a rent-to-own seller site. We use this site in the auto marketer campaign. You can use it for other things, but we use it in the auto marketer campaign, and it's part of the drip system over the 3-month campaign. So once we start dripping on leads that we're scraping from Zillow or Craigslist, we're going to send them links to pages like this one. And this is for people that are doing the for rent method. So this explains the for rent method, how it works. It has an audio that explains it. It gives them an opportunity to fill out a form and tell us what they've got and what they like to sell. And then there's more details about the program down here. When people fill out this form, it also puts them on a follow-up campaign that drips on them and suggests that they fill out the lease option memo form. So it takes them through that process. So if you take a look at the follow-up campaigns, you can look at the rent-to-own sellers follow-up campaign, and it'll show you exactly what's being sent to those people after they sign up. Once somebody signs up for this particular page, the likelihood that you've got a deal is very, very high if you know how to convert these types of deals. It means they've jumped through a lot of hoops. Fewer people are going to fill out a form like this that are just going to respond by text with a positive answer. The next site is the lease option agreement memo, and this is where they can fill out your memo online and give you control of their property with just a few clicks. This is exactly the same as the lease option memo that I'm sure you've seen many times, and when they fill this out, there's a doodad at the bottom says check mark this box to show your acceptance. You have the right to make this agreement. Clicking on the I agree button acts as your electronic signature. So when they fill out, they've given you control of their property. So you immediately want to call them up, confirm everything, get all the details, and make this happen because you've got a deal in your hands. All you have to do is get it sold. The next site is the We Will Buy site. And in the 3-month campaign that goes out in the auto marketer, they're going to get over time, over a 3-month period, links to your rent-to-own buyer site, the rent-to-own seller site, and the We Buy Houses site, and the Subject to Offer site. So let's look at the We Will Buy site. This is one of the first sites that we created. At least the verbiage of it is one of the first sites we created. And essentially it says We Buy Houses. It's a wholesaling type of site. So what we're doing is giving them a lot of different ways to work with us by sending them different messages over time. And if they want to fill out a form and give us their information, this asks them all the information that we need in order to make an offer on their property. So when somebody fills out one of these forms, again, this is somebody you want to contact immediately because the likelihood you have a deal is very, very high. The last site on here is the rent-to-own, is the Subject to FSBO site. And this walks them through how Subject to works, the type of properties that we buy. It gives them some options to scroll through and give them different information depending on how they answer it. It gives them some frequently asked questions and answers. And then it gives them an opportunity to give you the details about their house so that when you get this information, you can decide if this is a house that you want. And if it is, and they fill out this form, the likelihood is, again, that you've got a subject to house deal on your hands. So you want to respond to these people as quickly as possible when you get these types of responses. Now you're going to get an email from the system when people fill out this form. And they're going to get an email immediately as well saying thank you for filling out the form and putting them on a sequence of emails that are going to be going out to them. So those are the clone sites. I suggest that you read through each one of them to help you understand what they say. It'll also help you be able to speak to these issues more clearly and help you understand the best way to approach these types of offers with people. So it's actually a good part of your training to be able to really understand what these websites say and how they say them, because they have some good copy, sales copy in them, as if I do say so myself, since I'm the one that wrote it. Anyway, I also want to show you the website editor. If you want to make changes in your websites, not the listing site, but the other sites that you've got, you can make changes in any of these different pages. So you can click on the page that you want to make the change to, and it will bring up that page, and then you can go in here and you can modify it. So you can modify this any way you want. And let's say you make some mistakes on it. We've got a little save button here. You can restore the default page and it'll take it back to the original page. Whenever you make modifications and save it, make sure to go to the website itself and fill out your form again and make sure the form still works. One of the biggest mistakes that people make when they do this is they make a modification that breaks the form and it no longer sends the details in, and they don't find out about it until later. So make sure you check that as soon as you make a modification. If you don't know how to edit HTML, you might want to have some help doing it. You can look at the HTML source here to do that, or you can work on the page with a what you see is what you get editor, which is what this is here. So you can make modifications to the verbiage if you like, and you can add things, or you can add videos, you can add pictures, you can do anything you want to make this work. I probably wouldn't suggest that you do very many edits to these pages unless you know what you're doing, or maybe hire somebody. You can get somebody on Upwork to do it, and then we've got some guys on our team that it might be able to help you as well for a fee. They do some freelance work. So if you put in a support ticket and ask, they can probably help you with that kind of thing as well. So those are the clone sites. These web pages can greatly add to your credibility as an investor, especially when you're brand new. Somebody asks you, hey, how long have you been in this business? You can say, well, go take a look at my website. It'll kind of give you some details about who I am and what I'm doing and how I work. And you can give them the listing site, and they can go and they can see that you're in business and that you have a website. And these days, you don't need a brick and mortar store to look like you're in business. You need a web page, and that'll give you some credibility and help you as you stumble through the first few months of learning how to talk to sellers and put deals together. All right, good luck with it.